This channel is meant to be a place where we can talk about how bullet journals work for us. The bullet journal community and the planner community in general on YouTube is very much focused on the artsy side of bullet journaling, which is absolutely great and admirable. But as a person who is absolutely into bullet journaling and does not draw or have a lot of time to decorate their journals otherwise with original elements, I felt a little underrepresented in the community, and I thought maybe others feel the same. For me, it is more important how I use the types of spreads that I use, and I want this channel to be a space where we can talk about what spreads work well for us, how do they help us to organize our lives. So this is why I decided to start a little series on my channel in which I talk about each element of my monthly setup. In my last videos, I have demonstrated how I typically set up my monthly spreads. And in the next couple of videos, I will pick one type of spread for each video to discuss each element of my monthly spread and talk a little bit about how and why I use this while you see me setting up the month. Today, I want to start with the first page of my monthlies, which is the monthly overview. But if you're interested to see me talking about the other elements of my monthly spreads that are still to come, subscribe so make sure you don't miss anything. And please tell me in the comments how you use your monthly overview and why this works well for you. I'm always very happy to exchange ideas and I'm very open to trying new things. First, I want to show you my monthly overview of February and how I used it. So you see on the left side, I have a calendar overview where I don't have my daily schedule, just like the most important events, so that I have an immediate overview over the month, so that I just know what's going on. For example, important deadlines are here too. I also have the birthdays of my friends in here, so that I don't forget them. These little lines here indicate where I am. So I like to write down when I know where I'm gonna be, in what town, in what city. I also use different trackers throughout the month. I want to read the news every day. I want to practice Turkish. I have some health trackers. And here you can see that I actually changed my tracker because I realized that this one thing didn't really work. So I changed the tracker to something else that is more important to me right now. For me, it is very practical to have a monthly to-do list right next to the overview spread because it's just everything on one glance. I have administrational stuff that is mainly going on this page, not so much work-related things, but in the lower section I have some like general goals for university stuff that I have to do in this month. Going into the setup for March, I decided this time to decorate a little bit according to the themes, plants, and coffee. Two things that I enjoy very much and have a lot of in my life. And of course books, that's kind of part of the story here in my opinion. Also very present in my life, a lot of books, a lot of reading. And I also use these weekly stickers so that I don't have to write out the days of the week myself. As you can see, I don't use my bullet journal as a calendar basically. This spread is just meant to be an overview as I showed you how I use it, which is very practical. It is like just a one glance thing. I look into it every day. But it would not be practical for me to use it as a real calendar for daily things because that would take up too much space. It would take too long to set it up. It is very fast and easy to use it on my phone that I have with me anyway. So the question is, why then do I still use this page at all? And I just realized that I look at it a lot and it helps me. And that's what bullet journaling is about, right? It just helps me to know what's going on in the month as a whole. I don't know, I don't get this from my digital calendar, so this is like the one benefit of this, and this is why I use it like that. And of course for the trackers, I don't set up any extra pages for trackers. It's very easy to just put them there. And I also like to just highlight the weekends with a marker so that you can easily get an overview over the weeks. Where are the weekends? Where are what weekdays? It's fast, it's easy, and it looks pretty in my opinion. For the trackers, I again decided for news Turkish, a health tracker, which is actually something that I have to do every night to keep my eyes well moistured. That sounds a little strange, but I read a lot. I'm really struggling with dry eyes and also eyes hurting from the screens. So a good solution for me is just to keep my eyes well moisturized, and I have to do this every day before I go to sleep. On this monthly to-do list, I usually have all of my administrational stuff that I have to do, like fill out a form for whatever, doing taxes, if I have to pay something. As soon as I get the information or the notification that I have to do it, it goes here. And this is, by the way, also the reason why I decided to try out a bullet journal in the first place, because I always forgot things. I gave people extra work by running after me, which is really not my intention. And even worse than that, it happened to me a lot that I had to pay late fees, which is absolutely unnecessary, because the only reason I had to pay them was because I just forgot about all these things. Another example would be fees on library books. I have paid hundreds of euros and dollars in fees in total probably over my entire life. So in order to change that and be more organized, I thought I might try the bullet journal. On the to-do list, I always have this little soon section in the corner. Demnächst means soon, just in German. And I always put a little post-it in here, so stuff that is going to come up soon or miscellaneous things go here. I use this a lot. It's very handy, and if you use post-its and you just need this note at a different place, on a different page in the same journal or on a completely different paper, you can just take it off and stick it to where you need it to, and that's just very handy. Here you see me setting up my finance spread. I will talk about the spread more in detail in the next video. And as you can see, I kind of messed up the calligraphy. It is not consistent throughout the word because I did not realize in the beginning that I hold the pen wrong. If you want to do calligraphy with a thicker pen, it is important to have the tip of the pen in a 45 degrees position, which I didn't do at first. So while I set up this spread, let me tell you why I don't have a title page of the month, because as you have realized, I didn't do that. The monthly overview is kind of my title spread at the same time. The reason is, for me, this is enough decoration. It looks good, and I would also never actually use a monthly title spread. For me, the important stuff is actually how I can use this spread, so I am not in the need of a cover page. Sometimes I just make mistakes and have to rewrite things, and that is also why I like to use these erasable pens, because it's very easy with them. I don't have any anxieties to write because I can erase it anyway if I make mistakes, right? But it is important to note that it is the heat that you create by rubbing the eraser on it that makes the ink go away. This also means that if your journal is in a very hot location, it might be that the ink disappears, so be aware of that. I decided for this little coffee washi for my monthly general notes page. And this is very fitting because this little coffee mocha machine over here is exactly what I use to make coffee. After adding a few decorations, the next to come are my weekly spreads, where I divide all the days. And I decided to use these little stickers as daily headers, and to get in a little bit more color, I just decided to color them These stickers are from PlanningwithKay, who designs very beautiful calendar stickers. I will link them in case you're interested. In terms of coffee, by the way, my habits changed a lot when I moved to the US. I moved here a little more than a year ago, and I've always been a coffee person, but I love to drink hot coffee like latte macchiato and these things. And in the US, people put a lot of ice in their drinks. Ironically, it was in Turkey where I discovered that ice in coffee in summer is a really great thing. And I just came back to the US and I realized iced coffee here is great. So I have a lot of iced coffee every day, as the one you see me having here. I just created some Dutch doors so that you can see the headers at the top and at the side of my weekly spreads throughout every week of the month. I accidentally put the monthly headers on the wrong side. I didn't think of the fact that I wanted to do the Dutch doors when I set it up, so I had to move them. And now you see me creating a little bit of a visual divider between the part of my dailies where I have my tasks and the part where I have space for notes. That is to be repeated for every week, of course. And then I still have to add the Sundays for every week. For the daily dates, I got this little washi tape that I found pretty cool. So this is the first time I'm using it. Let me take another sip of my coffee before we go to the final flip through. I hope you found this video informative and interesting, and maybe also nice to watch. If so, leave me a like. If you want to see the future videos where I discuss the other elements of my monthly setup, subscribe. And I would love to read about your strategies, how you organize your bullet journal and your monthlies in the comments. And now nothing remains for me but to wish you a nice March and a joyful start into spring, which in my opinion is the most beautiful season of the year.